Hi, Dolly Calipez, the Pilates lady here at Pilates Land. I'm so excited to have this guest. She's a beautiful friend of mine. We dance together, and she now owns a beautiful gyrotonic studio here in town called
the Bend and Stretch Wellness Studio.
And it's on the northwest side of town?
Southwest.
Southwest.
Yeah.
So you might want to check that out if you get a chance. Today we're going to be talking about gyrotonic. I did get certified in gyrotonic, but it really wasn't my thing. I was so steeped in Pilates that it was really hard for me to make that switch. Pilates is my baby, but she really went on and studied more about gyrotonic. She did work for me for a while, and now she has her own place. So that's cool too, that I have so many people that they didn't necessarily stay in Pilates, but they're still in the somatic field of training. So I want her to tell you a little bit about Pilates, not me. I can sit here and go, but I think it's really important for her to say all of the details about what it's all about. Okay, so Scott, tell us just a little bit about yourself.
Well, let's see. I danced. I was a dancer, like a lot of Pilates teachers. For years. I met her at the Lido. We danced in the Lido together. And
it was at the Stardust that was blown up, like all the rest of the hotels are blown up.
And my daughter and I actually were at a PT office when we ran into Dolly, and she goes, we always run into each other. It means something. And my daughter goes, you need to do Pilates. So I took her certification, became a Pilates teacher, and while I was doing my observation hours, one of her teachers was teaching gyrotonic on the tower. And I was like, what is that? So I had to investigate that as well. And then still do Pilates, but went into the gyrotonic world as well.
I always think about Pilates, it's very forward, back, side, and side, right? It's kind of square. We keep our pelvis quiet. And gyrotonic is really completely three-dimensional and different.
Yes.
That's why they're not anything alike. And it's kind of like a lot of people that say, oh, it's like yoga. It's like nothing is like anything else. Everything is its own thing. So it is definitely its own thing.
Yeah.
So if you could tell them about, like we talked about last week, the somatic value of training the body in Pilates. So tell us a little bit about that.
Gyrotonic uses 7 like natural elements of your spinal movements. We move our spine forward and back. We move it side to side. We twist it. And we also do a lot of circular motions. The method uses that. And Julio Horvath that created it, he calls it the gyrotonic expansion system. And under that title is gyrokinesis, which is done on stools and mat. And then gyrotonic is used machines. He also calls it instruments. And the biggest difference, you're just using your own body, obviously on the stools and the mat, like you would in a Pilates mat class. You're using your own body. But he's trying to have you do a lot of movements that are going beyond what you would normally do. A lot of circular movements, a lot of rhythmic and undulating movements, which stimulate your nervous system, a lot of things that open up your perception. He also uses contrast to stabilize, works on stabilizing the spine, but still not taking the rigidity out of the spine. So it encompasses a lot of different things. It's more, if you're looking at yoga instead of holding positions too, it is more of a dancing type of movement. You're flowing from one thing to the other often in the movement system.
And I think we both share a client who has MS. And I remember when I first started teaching her gyrotonic, she'd say things like, oh my gosh, Dolly, I'm feeling my feet. I feel the sensation in my feet. Yeah. So you could speak. She was going to come today, but she couldn't. I said, boo.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, boo.
Yeah, no, she does quite well. And she knows the system really well now. Mm-hmm. So sometimes she guides me on what she wants to do.
She's
which
very
is
bossy.
Yeah, she'll say, well, let's do this today because I feel like I need this. Yes. So yeah, that's we'll funny. Work on different things. As far as the machines go, each machine is geared for certain, I would say not necessarily body parts, but certain systems. Like one of them is a gyrotoner, focuses a lot on your shoulders, opening the shoulders and some hip work. There's one called the jumping stretch board. There's pretty much every exercise on there that I can think of that works the entire body.
So you have a
Lots of
ladder.
different, yeah, we have an archway. It looks like a ladder that's arched. That machine does not have any weights or pulleys. So a lot of the machines, except for that one, have weights and pulleys. So you're getting a pulley system and weights. You're getting a lot of feedback when you're doing the machines to know where your body can move.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because we're going to also do a session on Legree, and there's a lot of bungees and pulleys and springs. It's like all mixed together in this one thing. It is nothing like Pilates. It is nothing like gyro. I mean, that's the reason why I started these lectures, is because I wanted people to really understand what is this, what is that, and go to each class. Don't go to a class that's smushed together and you're not really getting a pure form of what you're wanting to learn.
Gyrotonic's one of those things where it's more progressive. So you need to take at least 3 lessons or more to really...
And they don't talk about muscles.
Not too... I mean, yes and no.
Yeah. More
joints,
more
opening the joints,
opening
making
the joints,
space.
or energy flow.
Flow.
Yeah. There's. I remember I took my certification. It was like, okay, come up with some thoughts and ideas to express just through different adjectives what you feel like what you're feeling, so that it wasn't about do a bicep curl, right?
Right.
It was you're using your bicep, but it's this whole comprehensive thing.
Yes,
doing
it's
it.
a whole flow.
Is it good for athletes?
It's great for athletes. So Julio talks about springs. So a lot of us have this spring in our body. We all have it. And so when they're training, a lot of people, one of my teachers was reached out by a baseball team, a professional baseball team here. And she worked with this player to help spring this movement so he can go farther and really throw that ball. Tennis, I mean, you can really apply it to any athletic ability. The way you're working in contrast and opposition with the movement system, if you're really in that safe space and you're really working in your contrast, pretty much shouldn't get injured. So it helps with preventing a lot of injuries.
And then does it have like a yoga background? When I took it, Kundalini yoga is based on the pelvis. And everything is, well, not everything, but most things in gyrotonic, they're initiated through the pelvis. And so when I was taking it, and this was like in 2000, so it's a long time ago. Yeah, and you know, every method kind of progresses. What we do in Pilates was nothing. If you see old videos of Joseph Pilates, you're like, that's Pilates. It's kind of funny. The exercises, the movements look the same, but the way we get at it is much more mental and there's much more depth to it. Looks like you're crazy. No, there's much more depth to it. But yeah, so I think that's what I heard. And I don't.
Well, Julio had some injuries and he started doing yoga. He started doing Tai Chi. So he did a lot of movement systems. Before he came up with gyrokinesis was his first thing before he came up.
And that's what you guys are going to do. Wow, that was such a great session we had today. Thanks to Scott Sheilds of Bend and Stretch Wellness Center for such an outstanding experience with Gyrotonic. See you soon.